Sagt Teisves, Kulu nami tzrichi aseva. B'chol dalet kaises tzrichi aseva b'shas shtia. You have to have a seva by all dalet kaises b'shas you drink the dalet kaises. So what is Teisves bavaring with this line? It says it in the Gemara. Kulu nami tzrichi aseva. Which is Teisves' gersa in the Gemara. In our Gemara, the gear says, Hashta ditmach vitmachi, idi v'idi bo aseva. So it says in the Gemara, idi v'idi bo aseva. What's the Haisafa of Taisis? V'chol dalet kaises tzrichim aseva b'shah shtia. Anybody? So the fact that Taisis says b'shah shtia, that I understand. Taisis is bavaroning exactly when you have to do the aseva. When you look in the Gemara, I discussed this last week. You look into the Lashon of the Gemara itself, it's not so clear exactly when you have to do the Aseva. On one hand, it says in the Gemara, Yayin Sarach Aseva. On the other hand, the whole discussion of the Gemara regarding Aseva by Dalt Kaisis is regarding the things that you say. Aschel ala cheiros, or Hashta ikke cheiros, which is regarding the Haggadah that you say, or maybe the Halal that you say afterwards. So maybe you should need Aseva b'shas you drink the wine. Or maybe you should need a seva b'shas you say Haggadah or Halal. And I mentioned already that the Rebbe in the Sikha brings. I forgot to bring the Sikha. Not only forgot to make. Here. I have it. Okay, I've got to make you a copy. The Rebbe in the Sikha brings in the Ha'ara the shit of the Me'iri that you have to have a seva b'shas you say Haggadah. Ha'ara, which one is it? Ha'ara 27. Yeah, so l'chayre Teisves is coming to be shaylo the shitta of the meiri, that you have to have a seva not only when you drink it. So Teisves says b'shas shtia. Then Teisves goes weiter and says v'tzarech iyon m'shochach v'loi heisev v'myachze v'yishta. If you forgot, did not do a seva, do you have to drink again to do a seva? What are the two tzdadim of Teisves' suffix? Teisves doesn't say. What are the two tzdadim? Tzarechiyim, without, Teisves says that tzarechiyim, without giving any tzdadim to his suffix. What are the two tzdadim? In Rishayim it says tzdadim, Achrayim it says different tzdadim, but Teisves doesn't say any tzdadim in the gate to his suffix. So what are the tzdadim according to Teisves? Another shaila is, Teisves is having his suffix specifically b'negeh to dalet kaises, not b'negeh to matzah. Why not? Because as the Rosh brings over here, in Benegeh to Matzah, the Gemara says that if you didn't do a seva, you have to eat over. At the end of the Alma, the Gemara says, Hasham eshachal kazayis matzah keshu meisev yotza. And the Gemara is medayik, meisev in, loy meisev loy. So it's a clear Gemara that if you didn't do a seva, you have to eat over the matzah. So regarding matzah, there's no suffix. The suffix is only Benegeh to dalet kaises. So the Rosh argues on Teisves, and the Rosh says, just like when you get to matzah, the Gemara says, you have to eat over matzah. The same thing with dalet kaises. If you didn't drink the dalet kaises by seva, you have to drink over the dalet kaises again. Fragt sich the shaila, what's the machlekes of Teisves and the Rosh? The Rosh holds it's a davar apasha to compare matzah to dalet kaises, or dalet kaises to matzah. And Teisves has a tzarechiyim. Matzah, the Gemara says, that you're not yaitze. To eat over. Dalet kaises, Teisves has a tzarechiyim. What's the svara lachalik between matzah and dalet kaises? Then Teisves goes weiter and says, V'chein, im bekais shlishi leheisev, im yachal lachze v'lishtes b'seva, afagav de ben shlishi lerevi lehishta. Another shaila over here is, between shlishi and revi, where there's a issa to drink, the Mishnah later in Kufit Zayin with Beis says there's a issa to drink between the third and fourth case. So what happens if you didn't do a seva in the third case? Now there's another shaila. It's not only a shaila if you're mechuyev to drink that third case again, but maybe you're being over an isser. So Teisves has two sveikis. One subject when you get to the chiyuv, where you yaitze your chiyuv, or you have to do it again. Another shaila when you get to the isser of lo yishta. Does that isser apply if you did not do a seva on the third case? Huh? Teisves l'chayra has two different sveikis here. One suffix is when you get to the chiyuv. If you drank the first or second or third or fourth case without haseva, do you have a chiyuv to drink it again? One shaila when you get to the chiyuv. Another suffix, v'chein, benegay to the isser. The isser that it says in the Mishnah, Kuf Yud Zayin Amud Beis, you're not allowed to drink between Gimel and Daled, does that Isser apply if you drank the third case without a Seva? So the shaila is, are these two Sveikis and Tosfos tali in one svara, or is it two different Sveikis legamri? The Lashon of Tosfos is v'chein. V'chein and b'kais shlishi. Does that mean that the two Sveikis Tosfos has is all tali in one svara? The shaila whether the chiyuv applies to drink again, and the shaila whether the Isser applies, is all tali in one svara, or it's two different Sveikis? So if you look, we'll see everything. 1 second. So if you look in Tosfos Rabbeinu Peretz, you'll see that in Tosfos Rabbeinu Peretz he actually says that the second suffix of Tosfos is the two tzdadim of the first suffix. Not only does Tosfos Rabbeinu Peretz not bring it b'chlal as two different sveikis, Tosfos Rabbeinu Peretz explains that the two tzdadim of Tosfos' first suffix, whether you have a chiyuv to drink it over again, is going to be tolui, and whether you have a isser to drink ben gimel v'dalad when you did not do a seva. Why? So what he says is, Chachamim are the ones that made the takana of a seva. Chachamim can make the takana in a oifen that it should be liikuva, and Chachamim can make the takana in a oifen that it should only be a lechatchila the takana, not liikuva. What would that be tolian? If Chachamim know that you could be misakin if you did not do a seva, so then they'll make the takana liikuva. But b'chlal, if Chachamim make a takana, so then if they're going to only make the takana that you l'chatchila have to do it, and if you don't have to eat it over again, so then chances are that a lot of people are not going to be mekayim this takana, because it's only l'chatchila. So subconsciously or psychologically, you think to yourself, this is only l'chatchila. You think, if I don't do it, I don't do it. It's like if you know certain things in Shemay Nesra, if you know certain things, if I don't say this, I'm going to have to daven over Shemay Nesra again. So l'chatchila, you're more nizar to Mashenkin if you know that, anyways, I don't have to daven over again. So it's not, the sima slave is not as much. So l'chatchila, when Chachamim make a takana, they make a takana even b'di'evet. And that's what you see by matzah. Chachamim made the takana that matzah needs a seva, it's a takana b'di'evet. If not, you have to eat over the matzah. So l'chayrim is svara, the same thing should be b'negei to yayin. That Chachamim were misaken that the yayin you should drink the yayin b'seva. So if you didn't do it b'seva, you have to drink it over again. And that's taka the svara of the Rosh. The Rosh says yayin and matzah are the same thing. However, shaila is, could you be misaken? If you did not drink the yayin b'seva, could you be misaken? When you get to matzah, if you didn't eat it b'seva, there's no issa to eat more matzah. So you eat again matzah. And again, to Dalet cases, there's a problem because Ben Kais Gimel and Dalet Lo Yishte, so you're not allowed to drink it, so you can't be Misakin. So if you can't be Misakin, maybe that gufa would be a reason why Chachamim should not make the takana and oifen that even b'di'eved you have to do a seva, because then it's going to come out that if you did not do a seva, you weren't Yaitzah mitzvahs haseva, or you weren't Yaitzah mitzvahs Dalet cases. So what it says in Rabbeinu Peretz is, this gufa that you can't be Misakin it, was the reason, is the svara to say that Chachamim did not make the takana b'di'evet, li'ikuva? Or do you say that you could be misakin it? You could be misakin. It says in the Mishnah, ben kais gimel adal lo yishte. That's in a case where you drank kais gimel kedinoi. But if you didn't drink kais gimel kedinoi, so you would never yaitza kais gimel. So then you could drink again. So you could be misakin it. If you could be misakin it, so then Chachamim made the takana li'ikuva. So the whole shaila of Tosfos, the first tzarechim, whether the takana was li'ikuva or not, is tolui in the two svaras, whether you're allowed to be mafsik and be misakin. If you could be misakin, then Chachamim made it li'ikuva. If you can't be misakin, then Chachamim did not make it li'ikuva. So it comes out that not only is it not two svaras in Tosfos, it's all one. The second inyan is what explains the tzarechim in Tosfos. And that also explains the difference between matzah and Dalet cases. By matzah, it's a davar apasha that you can eat matzah again. You could be misakin. Shenk and Dalet cases, that's the suffix. Could you be misakin Dalet cases or not if you didn't eat it, drink it by seva? But in Lashon Tosfos, it's not mashma like this pshat on Rabbeinu Peretz. In Lashon Tosfos, it's not mashma that the v'tzarech iyun is based on whether you could be misakin ben kais gimel adal. It's not mashma so b'chlal. So the Pri Chodosh says a different pshat in the Tosfos here. What the suffix of Tosfos is? The Pri Chodosh says the suffix of Tosfos is that Dal Kaisis is different than matzah. Matzah, the chiyuv haseva by matzah is a chiyuv midim vadai. Chachamim were masaken to be mesiv by matzah. By Dal Kaisis, we see in the Gemara that the Gemara has a suffix if the first two cases need a seva or the second two cases need a seva. And the maskana is, since we don't know, so therefore you have to do a seva for all four. Why? Misafik. Not midim vadai. The whole chiyuv haseva by Dal Kaisis is misafik. So therefore Taisus has a tzarachion, bishleime by matzah, where the chiyuv is b'teiras vadai. So over there, take, if you didn't do a seva, you have to eat over the matzah again. But if the chiyuv haseva is only b'teiras safik, so maybe chatchila yemachmer b'teiras safik to do a seva on all four. But b'diavad, if you didn't do a seva by any one of the dal cases, so then hayes, the whole chiyuv to do a seva on all four cases is only misafik, so therefore you wouldn't have to drink it over again. The whole thing is only misafik. Which of the dal cases need a seva? First two or the second? So that's the shayla over here of Taisus. And that's the chilik between matzah and dal cases. That's the prichodish's pshat and Taisus. But if that's the pshat and Taisus, so then stellt sich the shayla, so why taka would there be any svara that you should have to drink over the dal cases if you didn't do a seva? Hayes, the whole chiyuv is misafik. What's the other tzad? This explains the tzad to be mechalik between matzah and dal cases. Matzah is a chiyuv vadai to do a seva. Dal cases is a suffik chiyuv to do a seva.
Only two of them.
Huh?
Two of them.
Say this. So if you missed, we're talking here about a person that shachach v'leihesav by one of the dal cases. That one, there's a suffik if he has to do a seva on that or not. Why should he be chayiv b'diyevet to be chayiv v'shaisa if the whole thing l'chatchila is only a suffik chiyuv? What are the two tzdadim of the Taisvus? The Beis HaLevi, which the Rebbe is mitzayin to in the Sikha in Hara 11, the beginning of Hara 11, says this beferish. Taki says that Taisvus, it must be that Taisvus holds that Dal Kaisis is not a chiyuv misafik, because if it would have been a chiyuv misafik, Taisvus would have never had a tzad that you have to do a save over again. Why should you have to do a save over again? Huh? Well, Gufa is a suffix. Maybe. Okay, one second. First, let me just conclude the point of the Beis HaLevi. And the Beis HaLevi says even more so benegate to the Rosh. The Rosh doesn't even have a suffix benegate to Dal cases. The Rosh is bepashtus medama matzah to Dal cases. So for sure that the Rosh holds that just like matzah is a chiyuv vadai, so to Dal cases is a chiyuv vadai. Otherwise, how would the Rosh compare them? Even in Taisus, that has a suffix, but the very fact that Taisus has a tzat to say that you have to drink over again Dal cases like matzah, apparently Taisus holds that it's a chiyuv vadai like matzah. If it was a chiyuv suffix, what would be the dimya lechatchila between them? And there's like the Beis HaLevi. So his maskana is that it's a machlekes, the Taisvus and the Rosh on one hand, and then the Ran on the other hand. We'll go through the Ran in a moment, where the Ran holds that the whole chiyuv of a sefer by Dal cases is misafik. Yeah. Okay, so now if that's true, if the Beis HaLevi's point is true, and it's very mistaber what he's saying, then the shaila then becomes, how could there be a chiyuv m'teiras vadai by Dal cases? How could there be a chiyuv m'teiras vadai by Dal cases? Didn't the Gemara say that we don't know which one of the Dal cases to do a save on? And the only reason the maskan is that you have to do a save on all Dal cases is because hashtid loy itmer. Hashtid itma hachi v'itma hachi idividi bo a save. So the Gemara itself says that the whole chiyuv of Dal cases is misafik. That's the Lashon HaGemara. Hashtid itma hachi v'itma hachi idividi bo a save, misafik. So what is the tzad? What is the hasbara of Shittas HaRosh and Taisvis that the chiyuv of a seiva Dal cases is b'teiras vadai?
Each one you look at, not as a subject, there's one.
Why?
Because it's this, and therefore you don't do the whole thing as a subject. Each one.
I'm not sure why. Okay, I hear what you're saying, but you have to explain that. So, the Ran over here discusses this Gemara. The Ran over here says, the Ran asks a question, that how could the Gemara say that because there's a suffix, which one of the two cases you should do a seva, so a machmer, and you have to do a seva by all four. The Ran asks, chayre, there's a klal, sveika derabbanon l'kula. So since Dal cases is a sveika derabbanon, so why shouldn't we be mekel? You shouldn't have to do a seva by all four, you should only have to do a seva by two of them. And the Ran gives two answers. The first answer, the Ran says, because in this case, it's not a tircha. To do a seva by all four is not a tircha. So therefore, avdina l'rafcha l'milchsa. So you do all four. And the klal of Sveika Derabana Lakula should apply here also, and you should only be mechuyev on two, but it's not such a big tircha to do a save by all four. So Chacham will mechayev you to do a save by all four. And then the Ran says, another answer, that no, you can't, the whole klal of Sveika Derabana Lakula doesn't apply here. You can't use that klal here at all. Not only because it's not a tircha, it doesn't apply here b'chlal. Why not? He says, what should you do? Sveika Derabana Lakula, and therefore which two should you do a save on? The first two, the second two, which two? You have to be mekel. Which two should you be mekel on? There's no svara to be mekel by these two more than by these two. Which two should you be mekel on? Di neza lakula, my nekel bahani tvemani. Elamai, you're going to say, Sveika Derabana Lakula, be mekel by all four. Not to do a save by any of them. If you're going to be mekel and say that you can't, when you're drinking the first two, so then you don't have to do a save because maybe it's the other two. When you're drinking the next two, then you don't have to do a save then because maybe it was the other two. Come taste that whichever ones you're drinking, you never have to do a save. If that's the svara you're going to say, so then you're being oike the mitzvah of a save by dal cases lagamri. Huh? Yeah, there's a rabbanon. But Chachamim made the we know that Chachamim wore Mesakin to be Mesav by Yayin. There was a suffix though, Rav Nachman, we have a suffix, Rav Nachman said that they only made that takana by two. So now we have a suffix, which two did Chachamim make that? But they for sure made the takana to be Mesav by Dal Kaisis, but only by two of them. So if you're going to say not to be Mesav by either one of them, you're being Oiker a takana de Rabbanon. Huh? Yeah, Nechanami. When you're oiker at takana de Rabbana, you don't say Sveika de Rabbana Lakula. Chachamim made the takana to be masiv. You don't say Sveika de Rabbana Lakula when you're oiker at takana de Rabbana. Mekrim mitzvah seiva legamri. That's the svara of the Ran. So what's the pashto pshat in the Ran? The pashto pshat of the Ran is that, so now that you're mechuyev to do a seiva by all four, why are you mechuyev to do a seiva by all four mesafik? You're mechuyev to do a seiva by all four mesafik. Either because Enochanami, the klal of Sveika de Rabbana Lakula does apply here, but still, since there's no tirche, do all four anyways, misafik. Or the whole klal of Sveika de Rabbana Lakula doesn't apply over here, so it's kilu going to be a case of Sveika de Rabbana Lahachmer. Just like there's usually the klal of Sveika de Raisa Lahachmer, over here we're going to say Sveika de Rabbana Lahachmer. Why? Because otherwise you're going to be oikem mitzvah seiva legami. But still, the fact that you mechuyev to do a seiva by all four is only misafik, not mit vadai. The Ran is just explaining why we don't apply the klal of Sveika de Rabbana Lakula here. So you say over here you say Sveika de Rabbana Lahachmer, just like you usually say Sveika de Raisa Lahachmer. Here you say Sveika de Rabbana Lahachmer, because otherwise you're going to be oikem legamri. But it's still only misafik. That's the chayre of this Ran. But in the tshuva of the Ranach, which Kiveg is Mitzayin 2 here in the Gilyon Hashas. Shuvas Haranach, which is I think it was mamish from either from the very last Rishonim or from the early Achrayim. So it's an early Tshuva Sefer. So in the Shuvas Haranach, he says the Pshat in the Ran Shlachayre, it would come out that the sort of a Chiyav b'Teiris Vadai. He compares this Ran to the Gemara on Daf Tes that says that by Shnei Shvilin, you have to say that they're both Tomei. If you have Shnei Shvilin, two people that went down in the same Shvil, and someone for sure is Tomei. Someone is for sure Tomei. So then if they both come b'vasachas to ask, then you have to tell both of them that they're Tomei because someone is Vadai Tomei. So he says that that's the kavanah of what the Ran is saying over there. Yes, that you have to be masiv by two of the dal cases, and we don't know which two it is. So when you look at all four of the cases together, in these four cases there is a vadai chiyuv. You don't know where it is, but mimanashach in these four cases there's a vadai chiyuv. So therefore, b'hayes it's a vadai chiyuv by these four. It's not called together. It's not together Sveika de Rabbana Lakula. If there would have been a certain hachra that you could be machriya, be masiv by these two, don't be masiv by these two, then I'm not muchra to look at all four as one thing. So that's what the Ran is maktim. There is no svara to say, do a seva by these two and not by these two, do it by the first two, do it by the second two. There is no svara to be machalik b'neihem. So if there is no svara machalik b'neihem, I have to look at all four as one thing. If I look at all four as one thing, so then there's a vaday chiyuv by these cases. Mamele says it's like by Shnei Shvilin, where there's a vaday psak when you look at it together. There's a vaday tumah, there's a cheskas tumah over there, there's a vaday tumah between these two people. So there's a vaday chiyuv on the style cases. Huh? The same thing. No, you can't say that by every suffix. Tairish nicht. No.
So what comes out is that every case he's drinking is the terrorist suffix, but when he finished the alcohol case, then he can throw the avada.
Sazai? How do I want to put it? No. Okay, that's the svara that the Ranach says. The reason why he says this, okay, I'm not going to go into all arichas. Okay, it's a long tshuva, you can look at it beside me. Yeah. So if that's the pshat, so then it's not mamish a chiyuv m'teiris safek. It's sort of a chiyuv m'teiris vaday. But l'chayre yesh leimar that it goes even further than that. It goes a step further than this. And chanami the Gemara has a safek. The Gemara has a safek if you should be chayiv in a seva. On this case, on that case, we don't know which cases should be chayiv and a seva on. But if you would be able to say here sveika derabbanan l'kula, you would only be chayiv to do a seva on two, and not on the other two. But we don't apply this klal of sveika derabbanan l'kula here. For whatever reason, the Ran gives two time. We don't apply the klal of sveika derabbanan l'kula. If you don't apply the klal of sveika derabbanan l'kula, so when the Gemara here says, Idi v'idi bo a-seva, or in the Girsa of Taisus, Kulu nami tzrichi a-seva, maybe what the Gemara is saying is, Chachamim themselves were masakin, you should do a seva for all four. Chachamim themselves were masakin that. Hey, yes, we know that the Latchila, the Takana was only on two cases. But we don't know which two cases they were. Came the Chachamim were masakin that you should do a seva on all four. If the klal sveika derabbanan l'kula would have applied, they would have never said such a thing. Then they would have just said the klal sveika derabbanan l'kula. Hey, yes, you can't apply the klal sveika derabbanan l'kula. Chachamim themselves were masakin idi v'idi bo a seva. Let me explain a little bit better what I mean to say. The two tzdadim that the Gemara says, whether the first two cases need a seva or the second two cases need a seva, the two svaras the Gemara says, are they a stira to each other? If the two svaras that the Gemara says would be says to each other, I would never say what I'm saying. It's either this or that. It's a stira. You can't have both svaras. But the two svaras that the first two cases need a seva and the second two cases need a seva, b'chlal not a stira to each other. The first two cases, there's a svara to say it needs a seva because then it's aschel Allah chayres. That's when you say avodim yinu v'yetziena avay lekenim misham yot chazaka. Then the second two cases, there's a svara that it needs a seva because ahish shaita av yechayres. There's a svara lekanan, there's a svara lekanan. Both svaras are not says to each other. There's an aspect of chayres here, and there's an aspect of chayres here. So Elamai, when Chachamim made the takana lechatchila, they only made the takana either on the first two or only on the second two. But now that we don't know where they made the takana, and you cannot apply the klal sveika derabbanan l'kula here, so Chachamim themselves said, do like this and like this. The Saya svara like this and Saya svara like this. Take another case. A contrast to another case, you'll understand it even better. The Mishnah Lamelech here, and the Beis HaLevi, Kiva Eger, and even in the Tshuva of the Ranach, talk about the same concept, but they get to a different case. That happens on Purim. When you have certain cities that are a suffix, if it's a Mukav Chaimim, Meis Yeshua Benun or not. I think the city of Tveria is considered to be a city which is a suffix. So when should you read the Megillah? Yudal or Tezvav? When should you read the Megillah? Yudal or Tezvav? So over there, the Ran says that you have to read the Megillah only on Yudal, not on Tezvav. So the Mishnah Melech asks the Shaila, what's the difference? Over here, the Ran says that you have a suffix, which two cases? So you can't say Sveika Derabbanan L'Kula, so you do all four. Over there, you have a suffix if you should read the Megillah on Yudal and Tezvav. So what do? So you read the Megillah only on Yudal, not on Tezvav. Maybe you should read both, Yudal and Tezvav. Huh? So Elamai, what's the answer? It's a huge pashta chiluk. Chiluk is pashut. Maybe that's what you're trying to say. I didn't hear you. The chiluk is very pashut. By the Megillah, either the chiyuv is Yudalid or it's Tezvav. It's not both. There is no svara that there should be two chiyuvim. It's a stira. If it's a mukav chayma, then it's only Tezvav. If it's not a mukav chayma, then it's Yudalid. It's not. It's the two tzdadim are seisir each other. It's either one or the other. Mashenkin by the Daled cases, the Gemara brought two svaras to say when you need a seva. Are these two svaras seisir each other? They're not seisir each other. So now that you can't say Sveka de Rabbanu L'Kula, when the Gemara says Idi Vidi Bo Aseva, what the Gemara means to say, both of them are Taka Chayiv and Aseva Midim Vadai. So when you look into the Ran, when the Ran says that you can't say Sveka de Rabbanu L'Kula, the Poshut of Pshat in the Ran is, since you can't say Sveka de Rabbanu L'Kula, Memela Vas, you Chayiv to do Haseva on all four Misafik. Mashenkein Taisves, Taisus' shit is not that you have to do a save on all four misafik. You have to do a save on all four, but Teiras Vadai. Demonstrates that the Beis Halevi, yeah.
Why does my Halacha not contradict
The Aschel Acherus is my Hava. The fact that we said that story of when Yidden left Mitzrayim, that moment that when they left Mitzrayim, that the Ascholas Acheres is my Hava. But the fact that he shaita hav Yecheres, that now this is what we experience after the Cheres, after you achieve the Cheres, that's true. It's the Aschol Acheres which is my Hava. Not that there's no Cheres at all. And Chanami, all I'm saying is that in the Lashon Haran, if you look into the actual Lashon Haran itself, it's mashma that he's trying to explain why you don't say Sveka de Rabbanu L'Kula. Why over here do you say Sveka de Rabbanu L'Chumra? So the Ran gives a hasbara, two hasbaras why you don't say Sveka de Rabbanu L'Kula. But there's no remez in Lashon Haran that it's a Vada Chiyuv. It's still a Safek Chiyuv, but you don't say L'Kula, you say L'Chumra, but it's still a Safek Chiyuv. Shenk, when you look into Taisvis and the Rosh, fact that Taisus and the Rosh both have a tzat to say they have to drink it over is mashma that Taisus and the Rosh holds that it's a chiv Teiras Vadai, and therefore they compare it to matzah. And l'chayri yesh leimar that this is the pshat and the hagdama of Taisus. Chol dalet cases tzrichem eseva b'shashtia. Taisus is giving this hagdama to say that it's not stam a chiv b'derech safik, but all dalet cases. All dalit is a chiyuv b'teiras vadai to drink, and therefore Taisus is mamshich v'tzarech. The v'tzarech comes after the akdama of Taisus, because if you would read the Gemara b'pashtus, there is no tzarech. It's a chiyuv b'teiras safik. So if you forgot, so you don't have to drink it over again. After Taisus gives the akdama that it's a chiyuv b'teiras vadai, then Taisus has a shayla v'tzarech. In the Beis Halevi itself, he brings another raya that the Ran disagrees with Taisvis, that you don't have to drink it over. Besides this whole cheshbon, he brings another raya. He says very poshut. The Ran says that you can't say Sveka de Rabbanu L'Kula over here because which two should you drink? The first two, the second two. So the Beis Halevi says, what's the problem? The second two. You should do after the second two Beseva. Why? Because when you do the second two Beseva, then Memanav Shech need a Seva. If the second two need a seva, so then you're drinking the second two by seva. If it was the first two that needed a seva and you didn't do a seva on the first two, so now you're being mashlemi, you're doing a seva on the second two. So what's the Ran saying? Which two should you do a seva? The first two or the second two? The second two. Elamai muzayin that the Ran holds that the whole takona of a seva benegay to dal cases is not makiv b'chlal. It's only lechatchila. So you can't say mimanav shach. The whole takona of a seva dal cases is only lechatchila. As it steht in the Beis Halevi, and Rab Kiveger also says this one. So Belavachi, the Ran disagrees with Taisvis when you get to Dal cases.
Why is there such benefit?
Yes, that's what I'm going to explain now. Yeah, so that's the first conclusion here, that it is B'teiras Vadai, L'fi Taisvis. And now comes the Tzarechien of Taisvis. So what's the Tzarechien?
He proves that it's not Mikula. How do you prove it's not Mikula? The fact that you don't say Manasha.
Right.
basically saying that the first two are only like a
Chatchila. So you can't say, Mimanav Shach, I'm drinking not to be mashal for the first two, because it's not Leikova B'chlal. Maybe. It's a good svara you're saying. In a Kivegi, you see that he has a tashtikal suffix about this. I'll show you b'fnim. Okay. So the suffix of Taisus, l'chayri yeshleimar, when you see a Taisus like this, where Taisus says tzarachi, and a Taisus doesn't give any svaras, so b'pashtus, it makes sense to say that the suffix of Taisus is based on what he himself said right before, in the previous Taisus. There's no reason to look at any other svaras. Besides the fact that I pointed out, aside the pshat of the Pri Chodosh is not mashman Taisus, the pshat of Taisus Rabbeinu Peretz is not mashman Lashon Taisus, but even more so, the fact that Taisus says that Tzarech and he doesn't give you two tzdadim, so what is it based on? It's based on what Taisus said before. Taisus before was mechalik between matzah and yayin. Taisus had two svaras to be mechalik between matzah and yayin. What are the two svaras mechalik? Number one, matzah is ikra suda. Yayin is not ikra suda. And number two, Taisus says matzah is ksuva b'teira. Matzah is ksuva b'teira. It's lashon Taisus v'oish ksuva b'teira zeichel l'chayre shlehispik b'tzekas l'hachmetz. Yayin is not ksuva b'teira. It's a takana b'derabanan. Even if yayin is also a takana for derech heiros, but it's not ksuva b'teira. So what's the suffix of Taisus? Sure, I say that just like when you get to matzah, it's a gemara mufureshes, meisiv in, loy meisiv, loy, you're not yaitz matzah. I should compare yayin as the same thing. That if Chacham were masakin haseva, that it should be ma'akiv by matzah. So if they were masakin haseva by yayin, it should be ma'akiv by yayin also. Why be machalik between matzah and yayin? That's the svar of the Rosh. Or Taisus says, or maybe not. Taisus just said before that by matzah, that's the ikra suda. So by ikra suda, that haseva is ma'akiv. Or the second svara, the matzah which is ksuva b'teira, that's something which the takana, the takana midirabanan is ma'akiv. Mashenkim negei to yayin, which is not ksuva b'teira, it's not ma'akiv. That's b'pashtus, the two svaras of Taisus. Yeah, so if that's the pshat, then l'chayri, according to what the Rebbe says in the Sicha, you could say that the second suffix of Taisus, the second suffix of Taisvus is not totally in the first suffix. It's a different suffix. Not the same suffix as the first suffix. Why not? So if you learn the Sikha with the Ha'aris, then what you see is, the Rebbe says that this Shaila, whether Haseva is Ma'akiv or not, when Chachamim made the Takana of Haseva, did they make it Li'ikuva, the Yevet, or they only make the Takana Lechatchila? The Rebbe in the Sikha says the two Eifanim in how to teach a Seva, it's not what it's told you. It doesn't make a difference how you learn the Pshat in a Seva. Whether a Seva is a Din Klali Bifnei Yatzmai, whether a Seva is only a Prat and a Tnai in Matzah and Dal cases, doesn't make a difference how you learn. You could always say two Eifanim. Is the Din of a Seva Li'ikuva or is it not Li'ikuva? Yeah, I pointed this out already last week. Even when you get to the first Eifan, where the Rebbe says that Haseva is a Tanai in Matzah, in Orah 31, the Rebbe says, Loi kol atnaim shebemitzvah likuva. Not every Tanai is likuva. And even in the second Eifan, where Haseva is a din b'fnei atzmai, the Rebbe has a svara to say, the Hilchasa, the Shulchan Aruch, that it's taka din b'fnei atzmai, but the fact that this Haseva has to be done with Matzah is likuva. So there's two different shilas here. If that's the case, you have two different shilas here. One shaila is, this takana of a seva, is it liikuva or is it not liikuva? That's the first suffix of Taisus. What's the second suffix? Second suffix of Taisus is, so let's say it is liikuva. Let's say you're going to be patient that it is liikuva, and if shachach v'lo yehesiv, yachziv v'yishta. It is liikuva. But now the shaila is, why is it liikuva? Is it liikuva because it's a Tanai in mitzvahs matzah or Tanai in mitzvahs dal cases, and without this you weren't yaitza dal cases, it's ki'ilu you didn't drink this case? Or is it li'ikuva, not because it's a ikuv in mitzvahs dal cases, it's a li'ikuva in the haseva, that the Torah, that Chachamim said that the way to be mekayim haseva is dafka to do haseva with dal cases. What's the li'ikuva over here? It's a li'ikuva in dal cases or it's a li'ikuva in the haseva? That's the chiddush. That's one of the ikar chiddushim here in the Sikha. You know what I'm saying? The Rebbe is machadish here in this Sikha that even if you're going to say that a seva is a din klali b'fnei atzmai, Chachamim though said when to do that a seva, and when they established when to do that a seva, it wasn't some random. or stam, that they put together two mitzvahs. Mitzvahs haseva with mitzvahs matzah. Mitzvahs haseva with mitzvahs dal kaisis. Chachamim said, if you want to have a seva, do a seva when you're eating something which is derech, when you're drinking something which is derech. Which would then mean if you do a seva with stam in another time, not b'shas eating the matzah, not b'shas eating the wine, it's ke'ilu you did a halba seva. A half-ass seva. Because the position you're in is taka reclining, and therefore it's a seva. But you're doing it b'shas yistam eating an avocado, which has nothing to do with derech. If you want it to be a fuller seva, so it has to be b'shas you're eating matzah, drinking wine. Kumtais that the yayin and the matzah is what's mashlim, the mitzvah of a seva. Without yayin and matzah, you don't have the full mitzvah of a seva. So whether you learn that a seva is a din klali b'fnei atzma, or if you learn that a seva is a t'nai in mitzvah's matzah, either way you could learn that there's a ikuv here, that there's a liikuva. But the shaila is, what's the liikuva? Is the liikuva that without a seva you weren't yaitza dal kaisis, or is the pshat that without dal kaisis you're not yaitza seva? But either way, the Rebbe says you could say that it's liikuva. That's the second suffix of Taisvus. Second suffix of Taisvus is, even in Tim Salema, that you do have to drink it over again because it's liikuva. But what's liikuva? If it's ma'akiv in the dal kaisis, then it's ki'ilu you never drank that kais that you didn't do a save on. So if you're going to drink another kais, you're not drinking between the third and fourth kais. You never drank the third kais. But if the liikuva is an ikuv in the haseva, the kais is a kais. The kais mitzad the mitzvah of dal kaisis is a kais. But the haseva is a halba haseva. So then if you're going to drink another kais, to be mashlim the haseva, you're being maisif on the third kais. You already had the third kais, you're being mafsik and being mashlim on the third kais. That's the second suffix of Taisvus. So it's not the same suffix. The first suffix of Taisvus is the mitzvah of a seva b'negeya to dal kaisis liikuva or not liikuva. Second suffix of Taisvus is, and if it is liikuva, why is it liikuva? Is it liikuva mitzad dal kaisis or is it liikuva mitzad the seva? Huh? No. It's a felt in the seva. I hear what you're saying. Okay. Okay. So now, Al Pizel, let's go to the Rosh. Should I bring us in Sif Gimel of the Sikha? The Rosh. So the Rosh argues with Taisvus. The Rosh doesn't have any suffix. The Rosh holds the Dover Aposha to compare matzah to dal kaisis. Why doesn't the Rosh have any suffix? So the Rosh is mechiach from the Gemara. The Gemara says by matzah meisav in loy meisav loy is the same thing when they get to dal kaisis. What's the svara? Why doesn't the Rosh have any suffix? So in the Sikha here, the Rebbe says that the Rosh learned that mitzvah saseva is not a mitzvah b'fnei atzma, or at least not only a mitzvah b'fnei atzma, it's a tanai in mitzvahs matzah. It's a tanai in mitzvahs matzah. And therefore by matzah, if you didn't do a seva, you have to eat over again. It's the lashon of the Gemara. Meisav in, loy meisav loy, that you're not yaitze the mitzvah of a seva. And then the Rosh says, so the same thing also, b'negei to dal kaisis. No reason to be mechalik between them. But l'chayra, why not? Why is there no reason to be mechalik between them? What's wrong with the svara of Taisvus? Taisvus has a very good svara. Maybe by matzah, the haseva is liikuva, and maybe by dal kaisis it's not liikuva. Where did the Rosh take with such a pashtus? Because the Gemara says that haseva is ma'akiv by matzah, therefore it's for sure ma'akiv by dal kaisis. Efshenisht. So l'chayra, the pshat is because Taisvus. There are two svaras that I mentioned before. There's one svara. We can take one svara at a time. First of all, Taisvus said the svara of Iker Suda. So according to the svara of Taisvus, Iker Suda, that doesn't apply to Yain. But by Iker Suda, you could say that it's Ma'akiv. Yain is not Iker Suda, it's not Ma'akiv. So apparently the Rosh doesn't hold of this svara of Iker Suda. The Rosh doesn't mention it. And then says it's not mentioned in any other Rishonim. Taisvus is the only one that says this svara of Iker Suda. And you see clearly that Rashi and the Rashbam disagree with the svara of Taisvus Iker Suda. Because both Rashi and Rashbam explain what's the reason why matzah tzarech haseba, not because of Iker Suda, but because matzah is zeichel l'gula. Nothing to do with Iker Suda. So why did Rosh didn't agree with the first headers of Taisvis of Iker Suda? Versteht? Doesn't hold of this concept of Iker Suda. There's no remes for this in the Lashon HaGemara. But Pashtus, the Gemara says Matzah Tzarech HaSeba, Yayin Tzarech HaSeba. So they're both the same thing. If Matzah is Tzarech HaSeba and Yayin Tzarech HaSeba, it's a Tnai in Mitzvahs Matzah, it's a Tnai in Mitzvahs Yayin. But how about the second teretz of Taisvis? Taisvis says that this is Ksuva B'Teira and this is not Ksuva B'Teira. Matzah is Ksuva B'Teira and Yayin is not Ksuva B'Teira. It's not. So Enochanami, it's a Tnai by Matzah and a Tnai by Yayin, but who says it's the same Tnai? Who says it's the same Tnai? Here, Matzah is Ksuva B'Teira and Yayin is not Ksuva B'Teira. So why doesn't the Rosh hold of this svara, to be mechalik between Matzah and Yayin? Not only that, according to the Hemshech of the Sikha, the Rebbe, what's the maskan of the Rebbe in the Sikha? The maskan of the Rebbe is according to the Rosh, according to everybody. I mean, the Rebbe's maskana is that there are two dinim in a seva. There are two different dinim in a seva. There's the din in the mitzvah, that's ma'akiv in the mitzvah, and then there's the din klali of a seva. There's two different dinim in a seva. So you could even say that when you get to matzah, that's the din of a seva, that's ma'akiv in matzah. When you get to Yayin, Yayin is already connected to the rest of the Suda, which is the din klali of a seva. Not necessarily that it's ma'akiv when you get to Yayin. Where did the Rosh take the pashtus that matzah and Yayin go together? And the Gemara says when you get to matzah, the same thing when you get to Yayin. Where did the Rosh take this from? So, l'chayre from this that the Rosh is medame, matzah and Yayin, with such a pashtus, l'chayre it's muchrach, that the Rosh holds that this that Hasev is a Tnai in Mitzvahs Matzah, it's not a Tnai in Mitzvahs Matzah. It's not b'mesuyim in Mitzvahs Matzah. It's a Tnai in the Chayrus of Matzah. This Chayrus that there is in Matzah, that's what it's a Tnai in. When you eat the Matzah B'Aseva, what's the Teichen of the Mitzvah of Matzah? The Teichen of the Mitzvah of Matzah is the Chayrus. Anachanami min ha-Teire, Mitzvahs Matzah is a Gzeiris HaKosov. In other words, you eat Mitzvahs Matzah, whether there is chayres, whether there isn't chayres, you have to eat a shear of a kazayas matzah, you eat the mitzvah of matzah. But it does say in the Torah the time of matzah. Ashal hispik b'tzeka shel aveseinu lahachmas. That's the reason for mitzvahs matzah. So the takonas chachamim to eat the matzah b'aseva is not mitzvahs matzah. The chayres of the matzah has to be b'aseva. If it's the chayres of the matzah that has to be b'aseva, the same takana is by yayin. The chayres of the yayin has to be b'aseva. What chachamim were masakin is one takana. It's not two separate takanas. A takana is a seva for matzah and a takana is a seva for yayin. That by yayin there's a din that the way to drink the dal kaises is through a seva, and by matzah there's a din. It's not two separate dinim. The din is that the things that you do tonight for chayros should also be done b'derech chayros through a seva. So mamela, it's one and the same thing. The Rosh, you see mamish, the Rosh puts it together. It's not, he doesn't even write it by that he's being medama. He mamish, it's like one din mamish. It's not like even medama milsila milsa. It's haynu hach mamish. The takana of a seva by matzah and yayin is ein din. That's what you see clearly in the Lashon HaRosh. It's not, the Rosh doesn't even say it b'derech chiddush. He's not even machadish. He says ein din. Even in Timtzalaima, like the second side that the Rebbe says in the Sikha, that Hasev is a Tanai in Mitzvahs Matzah. It's two different Tanaim. There's a Tanai in Mitzvahs Matzah, and there's a Tanai in Dal Kais. It's two separate Tanaim. Mitzvahs Matzah has a Tanai of a Seva, and Yain Dal Kais has a Tanai of a Seva. So who says you can be Medam with them? This is a Chiv Min HaTeira, this is a Chiv Min HaRabbana. Maybe only when you get to the Chiv Min HaTeira, since it's a Zeichel L'Cheretz, which is Ksuva B'Teira, you have the Tanai L'Yikuva, and not when you get to Yain. So L'Cheira, what it comes out from here is that the Teichen HaMachlek is between the Rosh and Taisvis. It depends how you learn. If you learn like the first eifin that it says in the Sikha, that Hasev is not a mitzvah, a din klali b'fnei atzmai. It's a t'nai in the mitzvah of matzah, and it's a t'nai in the mitzvah of yayin. There's two eifanim out of taitshtat. Is it a t'nai in mitzvahs matzah b'fnei atzmai, and a mitzvahs yayin b'fnei atzmai, in dal cases b'fnei atzmai? Or is it a t'nai in the kiyum of cheiros that there is in matzah and yayin? So, al derech the etzem chkiret that the Rebbe says in the Sikha, that there's an Indian klali of cheiros, and that there's the mitzvahs protius, In the first Eifen Gufa, the Shaila is, what exactly is this Tanai? Is it a Tanai in mitzvahs matzah and Tanai mitzvahs dal cases, or is it a Tanai in the Tzad HaShava of matzah and dal cases? That both matzah and dal cases are a kiyum of chayros. And Chachamim said, when they get to the things that you're doing tonight, zeichel chayros, it should also be done derech chayros, which is by Seva. That's a derasha. Mashenkin Taisus holds. It's two different. If it's a Tanai, then it's a Tanai in this mitzvah and it's a Tanai in this mitzvah. It's al derech the two eifanim that you see that the Rebbe says in the second eifen. In the second eifen, the Rebbe also says two eifanim. Either you could say haseva is a din klali b'fnei atzmai. It's a din klali b'fnei atzmai. But poil, where were they kivayet to do that haseva? When you eat matzah and when you drink the wine. If you learn like that, this that they were poil kivayet by matzah and yain, it's two separate things. They placed it chal. The Rebbe uses the lashon chal. It's chal here and it's chal here, like two separate things. There's one din klali of a seva. Then it's chal on matzah and it's chal on yayin. But then in the Ha'ara, the Rebbe says a different eifen. Not that it's chal here and it's chal here. It's a din klali, and then Chachamim said, and when could you and should you be mekayim this din klali when there's chayros, when you're eating something or drinking something of chayros. So then the chayros of matzah and chayros of yayin is one thing. The fact that they connected it to matzah and yayin is not that it's chal on matzah separately and it's chal on yayin separately. Matzah and yayin are both the teichen of chayros, and that prat, there's a tzad hashava between matzah and yayin. So the Rosh held matzah and yayin were looking at the tzad hashava of the chayros shebehem. Mashenkin Tosfos held that we're looking at each one b'fnei atzmai. And this chakira comes out from the Sikha. You see it in the Sikha here, and it's a chakira and a sefes of the ikh chakira that the Rebbe has. The ikh chakira the Rebbe has is it in klali or is it a tnai? But then in both of these tzadim gufa, you can declare this machlekes of Rav Rosh and Taisa. Anyone get what I'm saying here? Okay. Anything else you wanted to say? Benegeya 2. It's only 2:13, even though all the chairs are moving upstairs. Okay, fine. She doesn't want to stay any longer. Huh?